Hi, this is Brandon Moon with Moonlit Fly Fishing. Welcome to Fly Tying Night tonight. Tonight we're going to be tying up one of my favorite patterns, the Rajin Bead Head Nymph. This is a copper john variation, and we're going to be tying this in pink as we introduce our new metallic light pink slotted tungsten bead. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll get started real quick tonight. So the hook we're going to be using is a Moonlit Premium Tagata ML 501 in a size 12. The bead is a metallic light pink, size 3.5 millimeter. The thread is SFLY Classic Wax 12/0 shell pink. We'll start that right behind the eye bead of the hook, and then we'll wrap and use that tag end to give us a nice smooth underbody all the way to the back, where we're now going to create a little bit of a bulge on the back side of this just past the bend of the hook. This is going to help us flare out our tail when we get started here. For the tail on this, we're going to use two SFLY black Goose Biots, and I want to pull them apart and then have the tips of them face the opposite way, so it has a nice natural curvature to it facing away from each other. We'll measure that to be just shorter than the hook shank length of this hook, and then we'll secure that down. You can see I can adjust this tail and the biot's going up, down, or whatever. Once I feel like I've got to kind of lock it in a little bit by putting a wrap in front and make a few more adjustments until I get this secured in nice and tight. It's going to move around just a little bit, but I can make that final adjustment there and really kind of torque down and secure it down. Once that's done, we're going to wrap all the way up into the bead of the hook. We'll trim this out so that we can finish securing that up into the bead. Now we use the classic wax thread because it's a single strand twist thread, so it lays nice and flat and gives us a nice smooth underbody and doesn't build up a ton of bulk and is stronger than other threads on the market. So we'll finish tying that in. Now I'm going to take some SFLY tying wire in the 0.2 millimeter hot pink. We'll take 2 strands of that. We'll take these 2 strands and we're going to try and tie these in right on the top of this hook shank right there, so that it sits right on top. We're going to tie that and secure it down to about the 3/4 to 2/3 mark where our thorax is going to be. My wire is a little bit long there, but it's all right. Still going to fish just fine. Now we'll take 1 strand of baby pink 0.2 millimeter tying wire from SFLY. We'll secure that down and go back to that 3/4 to 2/3 mark. And now we'll take and half hitch this. This is so I can use the rotary feature when I'm wrapping the wire. And we'll take 1 to 2 wraps by hand so that we can get this started. And I like 2 wraps, and then I like to pinch that wire so that they're nice and close together. You see, I just take a fingernail and pinch that in. Now we'll use the rotary feature to wrap this wire all the way back to the tail end of this fly where I tied in my tail. And I want to make sure and keep these nice and tight and close. And you can see I've got to maneuver around the tip of that hook point there. Now I'm going to take and use the hot pink wire, or the baby pink wire, for my ribbing. So I'm going to separate them. They kind of, sometimes they get a little bit twisted. I want that baby pink, the single strand, to be the furthest away from the tip and the one closest to the tail, so I can interlock and lock in those other 2 wires as I wrap open spiral wraps to create a ribbed-like look on this fly. This is one of the unique features I have versus the original copper john. I'm just going to take and helicopter these wires out with my fingers there. It's easier once I've secured them down with the wire that I use for the rib. Now I'll secure the other wire down so I can helicopter this one out. We'll just pull that one out. Once that's done, we'll just take a few wraps over the top, and now we're going to tie in our wing case here. For this, we're using Simper's 1/16 large Mirage Iris Tinsel. I'm going to take and tie this down. I like the bend of that tinsel to go down. You can't really see it when I'm tying that, but that just gives me a little bit better control as I tie that in. Now I'm going to tie that on the top of this hook shank, the top now where this is going to ride hook point up, back to that 2/3 to 3/4 point where I'm using for my thorax. I'll use some Wonder Wax and wax up my thread. Now I'm going to take some Vicuna floral pink dubbing. And this floral pink dubbing, I'm going to just wrap a few wraps over the top to create a nice little bulge where I'm going to tie in my legs. My legs on this are SFLY Black Goose Biots again. I want the natural curvature of this Biot to face away from the hook shank. And I'll measure it to be just a little bit longer than the back end of the fly, that bend. We'll secure it down with 2 in over the top, 1 in front, and then 1 more over the top. Again, we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. And this is just going to help secure these legs in nice and good. You can see it moved just a little bit, so I didn't finish cutting, so I had that tag end to help move it back into place. Now we'll snip it out after I've secured it down. You can see it's not going to be completely flush, but that's okay. We're going to cover it up. We'll take the Wonder Wax again and some more floral pink Vicuna dubbing to finish the thorax. This is also where I make my little variation compared to a regular copper john, is with these Goose Biot legs, and I like them a lot. I like how I'm able to tie them in and make them really look like they're protruding right outside the body of the fly. We'll just add a little more dubbing here to just finish filling out that thorax just a little bit more. Now we'll take our wing case, the Mirage Tinsel, right over the top. We'll secure that down with 2 wraps over. 2 wraps in front just helps lock that all in. Now I'm going to take and whip finish with my Loon ergonomical whip finish tool. We'll do a 3 or 4 turn whip. I'm not going to put any kind of glue on this, so I'm going to do it 2 times, and then we'll snip that out with the snip tool on our whip finish tool. Trim this out. Now I'm going to take some SFLY no tack UV resin, put it on in a little cup. You can get them from, the restaurants. You put your little ketchup or condiments in, like a Wendy's, Burger King, whatever. And I'm just going to put a small little dab over the top of that wing case. And then if I have any left over, I'll put it in the thread just a little bit. Excuse my little shaky hands. The gym was a little hard for me today. Now we'll cure that up with our UV pin real quick. Trim out these little fibers there. If you get any value out of this video, please make sure you do us a favor. Like the video, comment, subscribe, and the bell to receive future notification. Thank you.